Telecommunications, Mr. David McGregor, Asset Manager for Emera Caribbean Limited, Ms. Tessa Williams Robinson, Head of the Energy Unit at the Caribbean Development Bank, Ms. Ann Harding, Program Manager of the Future Center Trust, Mr. Aidan Rogers, President of the Barbados Renewable Energy Association, other representatives of the BREA Board of Directors, participants in today's road crawl event, representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome to the opening ceremony of the Barbados Renewable Energy Association and the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited road crawl event, funded by the Division of Energy and Telecommunications. This event is so aptly themed, looking into the future, embracing energy independence, to coincide with our 51st independence celebration, and November is recognized regionally as the Energy Month across member states of CARICOM. At this time, I invite the President of BREA, Mr. Aidan Rogers, to open us up with a word of prayer.
Please stand. Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us all here this morning as we seek to act based on your teachings as stewards of your environment and your creation, as we seek to promote the sustainable energy use throughout this country and the wider region. Heavenly Father, we also thank you for bringing us here together, firstly as partners in this cause to promote all the virtues and benefits to be derived not only to your creation but to our usage from promoting more sustainable energy ideals. We hope that today we can share in fellowship as we not only share our experiences but also share our experiences, knowledge and insight with all who we shall encounter as we travel across the roads of this island in promoting these values that you have taught us to maintain. Heavenly Father, we hope that throughout the course of the day, you would take us safely as we journey to our various destinations. And at the conclusion of this exercise, you would return us safely back to our homes and your families. This we ask in your holy name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. You may be seated. Barbados is highly dependent on the importation of fossil fuels for electricity generation and transportation purposes, which utilizes a significant amount of our foreign reserves. The government of Barbados has embraced a policy objective of 100% renewable energy as a means to reduce fossil fuel dependency and expenditure, as well as combating the harmful effects of greenhouse gases, which contribute to climate change and global warming. With the funding support of the Division of Energy and Telecommunications, the Barbados Renewable Energy Association, BREA, has partnered with the Barbados Light and Power Limited, Barbados BL&P, which has now embraced a strategic vision for 100% renewable energy and 100% electrification. This partnership seeks to provide BREA, in association with its other stakeholder partners, the opportunity to dialogue and disseminate information among consumers and the general public at large on the importance of energy efficiency through the road crawl event. Some of the stakeholder partners in today's event include the Massey Stores, the Dome Mall, Caribbean LED Lighting, Sky Mall, Williams Solar, Mega Power Limited, Sheraton Mall, and Unicumar Barbados. The road crawl event provides a unique and creative platform to effectively disseminate and raise awareness on energy efficiency and energy conservation, which is increasingly important given the country's current economic climate. 1 year after the country has celebrated its 50th anniversary of independence, it is now more important than ever that we look to the future in doing so, that we incorporate innovative technologies and solutions as part of our sustainable development model. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak more to the role of government towards 100% renewable energy, I invite Mr. Jehu Wilshire, Permanent Secretary of the Division of Energy and Telecommunications. Please welcome him at this time.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
This is Energy Month. Can I have another loud good morning, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
That is much better. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is really a pleasure to be here this morning. Really, really a pleasure. In this spanking new complex, I think is an ideal location because as I look across the car park, I can see new LED lights, and as I look on the roof, I see a brand new solar electricity system. So we are currently in a location that has embraced, or is seeking to embrace, energy independence. I'm very pleased to be here this morning at the first in the series of road crawls organized by my Division of Energy and Telecommunications, the Barbados Renewable Energy Association, and the Barbados Renewable Power Company. Two partners that has been traveling along this journey with us over the last 10 years or so. As the Master of Ceremony said, the theme for this road crawl is looking towards the future, embracing energy independence. And as I understand, the sub-theme for this particular event this morning is clean energy and the role of the Barbados business community in fostering energy independence. As you all are aware, over the last week, the Cabinet would have approved the Barbados National Energy Policy 2017-2037, a plan horizon of 20 years. And as the Master of Ceremony said earlier, the government of Barbados has fully embraced the vision of moving Barbados from a fossil fuel-based economy to one that is based largely on renewable energy resources. A vision of seeing Barbados as a 100% renewable energy island within the next 50 years of our independence. And is not something that is out there in the clouds, out there in the air. We think that this is fully achievable. Indeed, the Barbados Energy Policy, as I said, has a plan, a horizon of 20 years. By 2037, we have done our studies, we have done our analyses, and that have shown that by 2037, we can increase renewable energy in the energy mix by about 75%. And I do believe we have the capability to do so fully 100% by 2037. So our analysis has shown that we can reduce the importation of fossil fuels by about 50% by that year, and that's a conservative estimate. You know, when I reflect over the last 3 years, as you all are aware, energy prices have come down significantly. But despite that, over the last 3 years or so, the government of Barbados still spent over $1 billion in the importation of fossil fuels. It impacts on the competitiveness of the economy. It impacts on our dwindling foreign exchange. So therefore, we have to move quickly to ensure that we use whatever resources we have available in the island to move Barbados to a renewable energy-based economy. And over the last 2 years, we have just not been planning, we have just not been doing our analysis, but we have also been implementing discrete energy projects, and to name a few. The Barbados Light and Power Company back in 2010 embarked on a renewable energy rider program. That was followed by a new regulatory framework in terms of Electric Light and Power Act, which was enacted in 2013, that has established a new regulatory regime for renewable energy systems going onto the grid. We now have 25 megawatts or over of renewable energy generation systems on the grid. We expect that there will be an exponential increase over the next few years. Indeed, over the last year or so, we have installed solar PV systems on the roofs of over 30 government buildings, and we are looking to do another 50 buildings by this time next year. The Barbados Renewable Energy Association, as you know, has a 10 megawatt solar farm in the north of the island, in Trent, St. Lucie. The government's vision is not to have very large solar farms, solar PV farms through the island. We are moving towards a policy of embracing distributed systems across the island. And that is with a view to ensuring that every person in Barbados has, once they have the means, they can become power producers. That process has already started, it's fully on the way. We currently have over 1,500 of such persons with such systems, and we are looking to have an exponential increase in those persons who wish to become power producers. Over the last year or so as well, and it's not only renewable energy, we are also seeking to embrace energy efficiency. And in that regard, government has distributed over 60,000 free LED lights to a number of residents across the island. So by 2037, as I said, we are looking to have an economy that is largely based on renewable energy. We are looking by that year to reduce electricity consumption by about 22%, and we fully expect that everyone will get on board with this effort. You know, and it's not that we are seeking to cover new ground. We have a solar water heating sector that in 2015 was rated by Solar Energy International as being number one in the world in terms of the penetration rate of glazed water heater collectors. And therefore, what I'm saying is that we can transition, we can use that as a basis for moving out to other forms of renewable energy and energy efficiency. So the government of Barbados is fully on board with this effort. 2 years ago, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Barbados Renewable Energy Association. We see them as a very integral partner in this effort. The Barbados Renewable Company, we have been on board with that company, a very good corporate citizen over the last few years, and we are looking to fully partner with other institutions in Barbados. Massey Stores has been a partner with us in terms of the Energy Smart Fund. We are looking to establish a new fund next year, and we're looking to move to have other partners come on board with us. So I'm very pleased to be here this morning. I'm looking forward to this road crawl, and as we seek to transition to the island to greater sources of renewable energy, I wish to recall the words of my good friend Mr. Rogers in terms of that prayer. We must be stewards of the environment, and that is precisely what we are looking to do as we look to the next 50 years of Barbados independence. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
What I'm going to do at this time, I'm going to thank Mr. Wiltshire, Permanent Secretary for the Division of Energy and Telecommunications. I'm going to invite Mr. David Rouse and Mr. Roger Blackman to the table. Well, we are here at the newly opened Massey Stores Sunset Crest Whole Town location. A new building incorporating renewable energy, energy efficiency, energy conservation technologies and techniques. I now invite you to listen to Mr. David Rouse, Operations Manager of Massey Stores Sunset Crest Whole Town, to give a few words on these technologies and techniques. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. David Rouse.
Thank you. Good morning. As they say, normally, protocol established, already established. Good morning, all. And firstly, on behalf of the members of the Board of Directors, Management, and staff of Massey Stores Barbados Limited, and indeed the wider Massey Group of companies, let me extend a most hearty welcome to all of you to this recently constructed Massey Stores supermarket, Sunset Crest. And I don't know how many of you have gone inside as yet, but I'm saying no. It is beautiful. This location serves as an example of the efforts being made by Massey Stores Barbados Limited to reduce our carbon footprint and positively affect our environment. As we prepare to celebrate our 51st anniversary of independence, we look forward to a future when we will all embrace energy independence for the good of our economy, our health, and our environment. The theme for today reads, Clean Energy and the Business Community's Role in Fostering Energy Independence. We are well aware of the impact of business on the environment, and over the past 4 years, we have systematically implemented measures to reduce our environmental impact. By 2016, all of the Massey stores locations were outfitted with LED. This was not limited to the retail floor, but extended to the chillers, freezers, car parks, and the outskirts of the building. So this really is what we hear about. The results were a drastic reduction in energy consumption, coupled with the invaluable environmental benefits and, of course, the cost benefits by ways of saving. This new store here at Sunset Crest is a look into the future of what Massey has to offer going forward. Of course, with continual improvements. So this store is the most beautiful in the country at present, and possibly the Caribbean. But if we were to improve the next one, we'll be able to see it. This new store here at Sunset Crest is a look, like I said, into the future. And of course, from 20,000 square feet reduced to rubble 9 months ago, we are proud to introduce this state-of-the-art facility to this community, fully cognizant of the fact that we have brought a renewed energy, pun intended, to the people of Old Town. You would be pleased to know that the renewable energy was a major focus of this project. This new location offers 31,000 square feet of retail space and is outfitted with a 150 kVA solar unit. We estimate that this unit would provide in the region of approximately 10% of the energy requirements of the supermarket. Our Warrens location had a similar unit installed 3 years ago. We have significantly increased our green spaces at Sunset Crest, and we believe that our landscaping greatly lends to the aesthetic of the location. To reduce our water consumption, we are pleased to announce that we have no intention of using any potable water to irrigate the landscape. Our store has 2 massive underground tanks, which we are sitting on right now, used for the collection of rainwater. This water is then fed by pump to irrigate the plants and grass, and for washing down the car park, for washing the structure where necessary. For the electric vehicles, which we believe will mushroom in the not too distant future as prices become more affordable, I believe, we have installed 4 charging stations here at Sunset Crest and 2 at Warrens. We will have the facility available at all other locations that can accommodate them. It is part of our mission to care for our community and environment, and the Massey Group contributes immensely and will continue to do so. Specifically to the Old Town and St. James community, the monument across the street that way, that has been refurbished recently, and we are committed to supporting the Old Town Festival, which we have been for the past 20 years. The business community has a major role to play in fostering energy independence. We are doing our part. The process will take some time, but already we can see a number of companies moving towards electric-operated vehicles, one to my right, and some have installed solar energy units. If there is to be a reduction in our dependency on non-renewable energy, the government must create an encouraging environment, and Mr. Wiltshire will tell you that they're working on it, not just for the business community, but for all, by providing meaningful incentives for the purchase and installation of renewable energy solutions, such as solar power. This could only redound to the benefit of the country as a whole through healthier citizens on the human side and a reduced import bill on the economic side. We at Massey Stores are in the health business, and clean energy means a clean environment. which means a healthier people and a healthier country. We are very much aware of the current and future danger in the continued use of crude and gases with regards to our environment and global warming in particular. We at Massey Stores congratulate BREA and its partners and wish you success at the launch of this road crawl event. Renewable energy should not be an alternative choice, but the first option. Thank you.
Thank you, too. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Rouse, Operation Manager at Massey Stores here at Sunset Crest, Old Town. And we want to congratulate Massey for being the leaders and setting the examples out there for others to follow. It is now my pleasure to welcome Mr. Roger Blackman, Managing Director of the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited, to speak to the 100-100 strategic mission for 100% renewable energy and 100% electrification. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roger Blackman.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Jehu Wiltshire, Permanent Secretary, Division of Energy of the Ministry of Finance, sponsors here today and their representatives, energy stakeholders, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's great to be here with our friends and partners from the Division of Energy, BREA, and Massey Stores for today's road crawl event. As some of you know already, safety is a key pillar of how we work at the Barbados Light and Power. We never start an event or a meeting without a safety moment. And so I'm pleased to be able to share a safety moment with you at the start of today's proceedings. We believe at Light and Power that all injuries are preventable and that all accidents can be avoided. Today, I ask every driver taking part in the motorcade to keep their mind fully on task at every point along the route. Once you get behind the wheel, turn your cell phone off and put it away and out of sight, or hand it to the passenger in the vehicle with you so that they can take any calls and you will remain focused on the road. Buckle up, set all of the controls for things like the radio, the air conditioning, the side mirrors. Make sure those are all set before you move and don't become distractions while you're driving. Inspect the vehicle. That means just taking a round around the vehicle, a visual inspection, check your tires and so on. You want to make sure again before we go out on the road that everything is in order and we're safe to be out there on the road. If you have a passenger, let them know their job is to help you to keep your eyes on the road and to be a second pair of eyes, scanning the road ahead for potential hazards. Drivers, try to maintain 4 seconds between your vehicle and the one ahead of you to give yourself the chance to react to any changes to the situation and road conditions. Check your mirrors periodically so that you're aware of the conditions behind you, and look as far ahead as possible to better anticipate any issues that may evolve to give yourself time to respond safely. As we share our message of looking to the future, embracing energy independence, let's have fun on the road today and let's do it safely. You would have heard from the Permanent Secretary talk about the just announced National Energy Policy. Lots of work went into this and the creation of the policy, and we are pleased to have been a part of it. As a stakeholder, we were engaged in the discussion. We willingly shared information to help inform the process, and of course, we remain committed to working with all energy stakeholders to be a part of the sustainable energy solution for Barbados. This policy gives all stakeholders a framework within which to work and supports the 100-100 vision for 100% renewable energy and 100% electrification by 2045. I was pleased to hear of Massey's efforts and deliberate deployment of renewables within the chain of stores. And I commend the rest of our commercial sector who are following suit by investing in renewable technologies and upgrading their facilities to be more energy efficient. Today's road crawl brings into sharp focus the fact that apart from electricity sector's use of fossil fuel, the other major user of fossil fuel in Barbados is the transportation sector. Great strides have been made in deploying electric vehicles and charging ports. However, there still needs to be a deliberate, policy-driven framework to transform public transportation. Both our foreign reserves and our environment will be better off. EVs are not only the answer to polluted air and high fuel bills, but they are effectively batteries on wheels and a key piece to the renewable energy puzzle. We see a future in which EVs play an important part in the management of the power grid. For example, when parked, like here in the car park at Massey, they could be a source of reserve power to the grid, providing EV owners with a monetary return for doing so. With utility and customer battery storage in place, solar and wind energy can be stored for later use when the sun isn't shining or when the wind isn't blowing. Once more, we're happy to be a part of this event today and appreciate being a part of this effort to share the message of energy independence with Barbados. Again, my reminder to all to enjoy the road crawl and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roger Blackman, Managing Director of the Barbados Light and Power. We now turn back to Mr. Jehu Wiltshire, Permanent Secretary, who's going to launch an initiative.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. In keeping with the theme of this event in terms of the role of the business community in fostering energy independence, as you know, there are a number of concessions available to the business community and to individuals for renewable energy and energy efficiency. What the division has done is to place all of these incentives in one place in terms of this document here entitled Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Fiscal Incentives Booklet for Individuals and Companies. So all you have to do, if you want to know what concessions are available, you can simply, and this document is going to be placed on our website, simply visit our website, or you can get a hard copy of it, and it fully has listed all of the incentives available for renewable energy and energy efficiency for individuals and companies. Thank you, Master Ceremony.
Thank you very much. Let's hear it for the initiative from the Division of Energy. Well, finally, I welcome to the podium, or the table, the Executive Director of the Barbados Renewable Energy, Ms. Misha Clark, to speak on initiative of the sole non-governmental organization responsible for renewable energy. Please, let us welcome Ms. Clark.
Thank you so much, Corey. Roger, always a gentleman as usual. Mr. Jehu Wiltshire, Permanent Secretary in the Division of Energy and Telecommunications. Mr. David Maguire, Asset Manager for the Emira Caribbean Limited. Ms. Tessa Williams Robinson, Head of the Energy Unit at the Caribbean Development Bank. Ms. Ann Harding, Program Manager of the Future Center Trust. Mr. Aidan Rogers, President of the Barbados Renewable Energy Association. Other representatives of the BREA Board of Directors. Participants in today's roll call event. Representatives of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to make a few closing remarks and express my gratitude to all those persons and key stakeholders who made today's event a reality. The launch of today's roll call event actually predated my arrival to the Secretariat, as the BREA road crawl was first conceptualized by two representatives of the BREA board who were largely responsible for the execution of the first road show, Mr. Jerry Franklin and Mr. Rohan Ford, who are here to be with us today. Worked assiduously together with the Barbados Light and Power team to demonstrate that in the association's bid to convey its message of 100% renewable energy and greater support for the incorporation of energy efficiency across Barbados, that it was not enough for the association to foster greater efforts towards lobbying and advocacy initiatives alone. Instead, they recognized, largely with the support of the former Executive Director, Mr. Clyde Griffith, that every effort should be made to facilitate greater levels of sensitization and education among the public and average Barbadian on the importance of energy efficiency and renewable energy, and more so, the role of the average Barbadian in charting a new path forward. It is within this genesis that today's event was first envisioned, with the unwavering and continuous support of the Barbados Light and Power Company, who has also embraced the vision of 100% renewable energy and continues to partner with BREA to make non-traditional events such as this very much possible. The road call event has now evolved to become a major feature on the BREA calendar, as it is now part of the organization's strategic outreach activities, as it provides an opportunity not only for the BREA Secretariat, but more importantly, our membership to engage with a wide cross-section of individuals from across the public on the importance of renewable energy. This year, with the funding support provided by the Division of Energy and Telecommunications, we are now able to have this event be a major feature within the country and the region's recognition of the month of November as Energy Month in Barbados and across CARICOM. For BREA, the launch of today's event is even more important because it is being efficiently launched on the eve of the country's 51st independence celebrations and at a critical time in our country's economic and social redevelopment. The event theme is therefore appropriately titled, Looking to the Future, Embracing Energy Independence, taking on board the need for us to make the bold and transformative steps as a country towards the goals of 100% renewable energy Barbados and an energy independent nation. Today, the participants taking part in the roll call will have a unique opportunity to interact and interface with some of our most innovative members who have made some tremendous steps forward in advancing this 100% renewable energy and energy independence goal. To this end, I would formally like to thank the following partners who have all agreed to come on board and participate in this event. First and foremost, thank you to the Massey Store team for playing host at today's proceedings. Can I get one? Special thanks go out to Mr. Richard Cox and Ms. Karen Allen, who have been most accommodating throughout this entire process, as well as to the Massey Dole Mall team, who we will visit shortly, namely Mr. Ian Donovan and Ms. Keisha Nichols. Thank you to all other partners, which include Sky Mall, the Sheraton Mall, and the Frederick Smith Secondary School. To our members, today's proceedings could not be possible without you. Special thanks to Mr. Jim Reed and his team at Caribbean LED Lighting, Mr. Ralph Busy Williams and the Solar team, Ms. Joanne Edghill of Mega Power Barbados, and the Do It Best and Oran team at Sheraton Mall. To the Division of Energy and Telecommunications, I wish to thank you for recognizing the importance of such events as this in helping to support the work of both the division, and to the permanent secretary for personally deciding that this event was of such that it was worthy of the financial support provided. To this I say thank you. Last but by no means least, I wish to acknowledge the excellent work of the Barbados Light and Power team, led by its managing director and asset manager. Special mention must be made of Ms. Kim Griffith Tangao, Ms. Jackie Marshall Clark, Ms. Jennifer Blackman, and Mr. Keem Brace, who worked tirelessly after hours with the BREA team to make today's event possible. To this, I express my great gratitude and say thank you. In closing, it would be remiss of me not to mention my team and the hard work and dedication of two young ladies who spent the last 3 weeks working with me and Clyde at the Secretariat to make today's event a success, Ms. Jamelia Wiley and Ms. Ayana Eveling, who you will all have an opportunity to meet as they are stationed at the two upcoming locations which we will be visiting today. The hard work of these two young women has shown that with hard work, commitment, and perseverance, the impossible can very much become possible. I will not wish to keep you any longer other than to wish you an enjoyable day and to say, let's hit the road and bring the energy as we strive for energy independence across Barbados.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Executive Director of BREA, Misha Clark.
Before, 2 minutes, Corey, before we proceed on to the bus, just some minor housekeeping matters to resolve. You're going to receive, Destiny, can you just identify yourself? Yes, we have some bags for you before in terms of proceedings. So before you enter the bus, you could just line up and Destiny to distribute those packages for you. You are reboarding the bus. The facilitators on the bus today with you will be Miss Kim Griffith Tyhall. Kim, you want to raise your hand? As well as Miss Jennifer Blackman. Jennifer, you want to raise your hand? Perfect. These ladies will be able to assist you in terms of any information that you need in terms of the stock, what is available for refreshments, lunch as we go through the day. These are your points of contacts. For the other stakeholders who are here involved, just to let you know, once we board the bus and the vehicles, we're heading back to the Frederick Smith School just to tie on the final set of balloons and line up before we proceed in the motorcade. the policemen are going to be there to direct you accordingly. So that's it for me. Once again, let's hit the road and bring the energy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the opening ceremony. And as the executive director say, let's take this message on the road. Have a safe trip in the Bajan Vintage Bus, or should I say the Energy Bus, and the electric vehicle procession. Our next stop will be Dome Mall in Warrens. You may make your way to the bus. We're going to be joined by Starcom Network on the bus just about 11 o'clock. So you can look out for interaction from Ian Cupid Guild as we make our way to Dome Mall, Sky Mall, and Sheridan Mall.
All right. Good work. I know you're happy.
No, Roger might be though. Roger has more time.
Well, no, I